Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Welcome to the Dads of Main Street, where four dads explore what it means to be present, passionate, and maybe a little obsessed with theme parks. We're talking fatherhood, fandom, mental health, park tips, and everything in between. From character breakfasts to real conversations about being better men and better dads, this is where magic meets real life. Welcome to the Dads of Main Street.
No matter how big you get, I am your father.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dads of Main Street, the podcast where four dads talk theme parks, fatherhood, and figuring it all out one churro at a time. This week's episode is one that we're really happy about and excited to talk about. It means a lot to us, and we're talking about what it's like to experience Disney parks through the lens of neurodivergence, specifically as a parent navigating the magic with a child who experiences the world a little differently. It's a topic that doesn't always get enough love, but there's a huge community of families out there who deal with sensory overload, overstimulation, and accessibility concerns every time they step into the park. Today's about understanding that magic might look different, but it's just as meaningful, maybe even more so. Also, we're really excited to welcome our first ever guest on the Dads of Main Street, Miguel Cervantes. Thank you so much for being here, man. We're so excited to have you. He's a dad, a Disney cast member, and one hell of a content creator. So, Miguel, welcome. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. Honored to be your first.
Oh, please, it's ours.
I followed you today. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, this guy's a monster, like, man. I post as much as I do because I'm trying to keep up with Miguel.
No.
But it's something that I really appreciate about Miguel's content is, and you did, you might have done a reel, maybe it was today. You did the reel about like, last month was white titles, this month is black titles. Yeah. Like your aesthetic is gorgeous, and I wanted to just fangirl over that for you.
Oh no, thank you. Yeah, I kind of challenged myself this year to do a video a day.
Yeah.
As long as I can, and so every month I've been changing it up just so that my feed is organized at least by month.
I love it.
That's tough.
It is.
A video a day. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of gotten a little bit used to it. I mean, sometimes I don't have anything to post, and that's when I'll do like a speaking video or something related to AI, something that I can do at home. So make it easy for myself.
Wait, so are you saying like when you turn into a wolf, that was AI?
Wait a minute.
No,
magic's ruined.
That was real. Okay.
That one was real.
Well, let's just jump into let's catch up. What's going on this week? Who's got something going on?
I'll start. I went to Legoland.
Yeah.
And my son absolutely met and exceeded all my expectations. So Miguel, I have a 1.5-year-old, and we did his first official ride, which was like the Explorers River Run or something like that. Basically, you're in a little boat and go through little Lego areas, and at the very end was you go through a cave and then like a T-Rex pops up, and I was like, oh, here we go. This is the first like test, and that dude was beaming, smiling, and I was like, yes. So then I was like, okay, let's just buy the ride photo. Let's see what it looks like. And that dude in the ride photo is just smiling. Like I was like, yes.
Nice.
So big win on that one.
That's
and then
so good.
We did like the little submarine one where it's kind of like an aquarium, but you're in the ride, and it's a touch screen, right? That dude got a Senior Explorer. I'm like, you're just hitting buttons, and he got it. So yeah, I was real impressed. He did great on his flights, no issues there.
Good.
And then he did great at Legoland, so I couldn't complain. But I was really we went to SeaWorld, and I was a little disappointed. Like it's way more like young adult now instead of like how it used to be. Like when I was there, I mean, 20 years ago is what I kept saying. That has changed. It's changed a lot. So it's not so like kid orientated. It's definitely like their summer concerts was like a bunch of rappers. It was cool. I was like, cool, I'll come back here. But my son, it kind of gotten away from kids. So
well, they moved to an older demographic so that the kids don't cry when they're beating the dolphins. It's they don't want the tears. It's bad for publicity. PR. It's bad PR.
Yeah, it was good though. Great trip. I was happy. He did great. No complaints
That's
here.
That's awesome, man. Josh, you got
you're ready
anything
for
going
Disney
on this week?
or for Disneyland then, right?
Ready.
Oh yeah.
6 months.
Wait,
5 months.
Hang on a second. How long was that flight for you guys?
It's only like an hour and a half.
That's a pretty decent flight. I mean.
Yeah. Little puddle jump.
Josh, what do you got going on?
This coming week or last week?
Anything. Just what's going on, man? We don't talk enough, We don't talk
Last
all
week
day
was
long every day.
pretty
so.
busy. I know we don't talk about like our full-time jobs too much, but where I work, the 4th of July is like the single busiest day of the year.
Yeah.
So like the day leading up to it, the day after, it was like a week's worth of work in just a couple of days. So I've been kind of taking it easy the last few days, recovering from that. But over the weekend, we met up with some friends who were staying at the Disneyland Hotel, and we kind of had a pool day with them.
Nice.
So we latched onto their reservation, as you do, and enjoyed the poolside nachos and getting into my dad flex here. But my daughter went down the monorail slides for the first time.
Oh,
She was
fun.
stoked on that.
There you
So that was a lot of fun. Just good time with friends who I don't see very often, and also just kind of a nice way to relax after a busy couple days. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, we did those monorail slides in March when we were there, and man, it was still cold, and like I mean, I could totally do the monorail slide at Disneyland maybe in June, but doing that, it was like legitimate, like because you get wet, but then like you're kind of waiting in line because they're very safe at Disneyland when
The
it
water's
comes to
just pouring on you while you're in
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
It's just like a waterfall.
At Walt Disney World, it's a free for all, man. There's nobody up there. You just really walk up, you go down the slide. But at Disneyland, there's like a cast member, like manning it, and so yeah, that was not fun. I mean, it was fun, but it was a little miserable as well.
It's always tough when you're doing like a water thing when you're not supposed to at that time of year, but you're like, I'm going to get my money's worth, and we're doing this water stuff, man. You're like, I'm freezing.
And that's an epic water slide too, so you got to, man. You can't not do that. So
Well, and when we stayed there a little over a year ago, they were working on the monorail slide, so they were closed. So we ended up getting to enjoy the new like kind of Mickey Steamboat Willie like splash pad they've got, at the new Villas Tower.
Yeah.
But this time,
Which is a
we
super
basically
cute
spent the whole
area.
time
I
at the
love that
monorail.
area.
Yeah.
dude, that whole
it's
area
great.
is like
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I was blown away by just the whole like aesthetic of that
Yeah.
whole like that outdoor like bar right there
Palm-
that kind of
what is it,
splits
Palm
between the
Breeze
two
or-
of them. Place is awesome.
Yeah, the Palm
man.
Breeze bar. Well, and everyone was talking about how low the crowds were this last week, and I think I know because everyone was at the pool.
Dude, it was so
so
parks this
crowded.
week. It was empty.
Yeah, everyone was at the slides.
Yeah, which was awesome because my family came in last week. They were here for a week, and we did a day of downtown Disney. We did DCA, and we did 2 days of Disneyland, and everything was immaculate. The crowds were manageable. We did every ride we wanted to, some of them twice. We did front row for the fireworks, front row for the parade. Like, we did it all. I'm still recovering. I'm so tired, which is really bad because we're leaving for Florida tomorrow, and I'm like, we got.
I was gonna say, good thing you've got like some downtime. Oh wait.
Yeah, right. My knees are killing me still. But yeah, I'm really excited to go to Walt Disney World. It's our annual birthday trip. We do it every year. So my birthday is on July 18th. Tabitha's is on July 22nd. Then Kenzie's August 15th. And then we go with our best friends, Amy and her daughter Kylie, and they're all close to us as well. So it's been our tradition. This is our 3rd year. And we're so excited. We're gonna do a day of Universal, and then the rest of it's gonna be staying at Old Key West. We've never stayed there before. We're just gonna do parks every day, so it's gonna be a blast.
That's awesome. Man.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna be living vicariously through you because I mean, for me, I haven't had a lot going on. I mean, obviously the long weekend, but coming off a long trip at Disney, like it's always hard to just kind of get back into the swing of things. So
Have you unpacked yet?
I have, yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thing. Again, we talked about this. Like, I'm the obsessed one in my house, in my relationship, and so like the least I can do is try to unpack the bag.
Right,
so
right.
like as soon as we get in, I'm getting the laundry out, and we have a weird thing. No matter like even if we wash the laundry while we're there at Disney, we always rewash it when we get back. So I don't know why we actually wash laundry, do laundry when we're at Disney because we just do it when we get back. But no, it's been a challenge, man. I'll be honest. If I'm being real, like I've been conflicted because like I am missing Disney. I want to get to Disney, but like we've also had all this flooding going on in Texas, which is like super traumatic, and just very sad. And I have an 8-year-old daughter. Like, but it hits home especially because a lot of these girls that were in this, this church camp, like were born like within the same window of my daughter, so it just hits home. It's hard, man. We talked about this a few weeks ago, where it's like, like you love Disney, you're thinking about Disney, but there's like all this real world stuff that's happening, and it's just like, I don't know. And so I've been conflicted, I'll be honest, because I'm missing Disney, but there's way other stuff that's going on that's like hard and tough. And so I'm just excited to be doing this. Like I love chatting with you guys. It's like a form of therapy for me. So I'm looking forward to getting into this episode with you guys.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that because like there is a lot of stuff going on in the world, and this flooding is awful, and our hearts go out to everybody that's affected. It's awful. It's absolutely terrible. And then Miguel and Josh and I have been dealing with all the LA stuff, and there's so much going on in the world, and I would hate for anybody to think like we're just sitting back going to Disneyland every day and not giving a shit about what's going on in the world. I know for a fact all of us do. Everything that's going on. We do care, and we're not, none of this is to ignore what's going on, but definitely some things get heavy, and you need to, we talked last week about escapism. Like sometimes you need to get away and just like forget that the world exists for a minute, just so being a good person in this world is like overwhelming right now. It's killing our souls, and so having an escape I don't think it's a bad thing. So Marcus, you saying that, like I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I don't think anybody's looking at you going, oh man, he's just off at Disney World. Like there's not much you can do in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Miguel, what you got going on, man?
Oh man, I mean, this week is kind of a weird one. It's a transition week. My son goes to his mom's from Wednesday to Wednesday, so it's my first night alone. So it's always every week or every other week. It's kind of one of those. It's like a challenging thing the first couple of days, kind of just being in an empty house. But this past weekend, we celebrated some birthdays, my niece and my dad's, and we had all the kids together, and my son had a blast with his cousins. And
amazing.
We had also gone to Disney a few days prior, and he rode Space Mountain for the first time.
Awesome.
Nice.
How was it? What did he think?
I mean, he was scared to go in.
Sure.
I mean, right away, his first thing is that he tries to duck out by saying he needs to go to the bathroom. So went to the bathroom before that, and
I do that now. What do you mean?
I get nervous. I go to the restroom. So I mean, shoot. I mean, poor kid got it from me, but yeah, no, we got in, and he was a little bit afraid, but. I mean, the moment we got back to like the little docking station, he was just like, "Good job!" And I was just like, "Yeah, man, good job."
Amazing.
So,
how did the picture turn out?
He got covered by some dude.
Oh man, Mike Wazowski. Dang it. That's such a bummer.
So, but it was cool. It was cool to kind of see him enjoy that in a different way. There was a little bit of fear, but he kind of got over that and he made it through. So, and it's one of the first bigger rides because we still haven't done Indy or Thunder, so we'll get there.
Nice.
We'll get there.
Well, that's
Progress.
cool.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
that's a great achievement.
Was him riding Space Mountain? Was that like he's tall enough now? What triggered that he was willing to give it a try this time?
So whenever we go to the parks, I have to prime him. 2 days usually. I try to prime him 2 days prior.
Did you say prime him or bribe him? Because that's how
prime.
I get my daughter to go on big rides. Bribe him?
I tried bribing. That doesn't work. Priming. So I basically we kind of give him a game plan. 2 days beforehand, then 1 day beforehand, and then a couple of days beforehand. And so I'll list out rides that he wants to go on. I want to get him used to knowing that we can go back whenever we want.
Yeah.
As of right now, we've only done, I think, 2 days a week. That's the most we've done. Because normally I was doing it about like once a month. Because Disney is his like highly preferred thing, and so
Cool.
we have to really kind of plan for it so that he kind of has the best time, or else if it goes off the rails, it goes off the rail bad.
Yeah.
So priming him has been kind of like the best thing because we'll list out the rides he wants to go on, and Dad will throw in a ride that maybe he'll go on, and Space was that ride. And so he kept saying no and no and no, and then we kind of got there, and I was just like, well, I was like, Space Mountain, and we like kind of started walking, and I kind of tried to feel him out to see if he would like, if he would like freak out or anything, but he kind of kept on, and And we went to the line, and I was like, all right, well, we're doing this. And, you know, he does get scared to where he like kind of grips my hand or like he'll be like, no, Dad. And I'll be like, dude, it's okay. Like everything's going to be fine. And then, you know, he's not pulling back. And that's what I'm usually looking for.
Yeah.
And he got through it, and we did great.
That's awesome.
awesome, man.
Well, congrats.
Yeah,
That's
so
a,
that was
that's
a win,
a
for
big
sure.
accomplishment for a kid, man.
100%.
Cool. Well, before we jump into our larger conversation, if you're enjoying the show, the Dads of Main Street really appreciate you. If you're not, thank you for listening to another podcast. Not ours. But seriously, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps a lot. I mean, not only our egos, but it also helps other dads and Disney families find the show. And then, you know, just lets us know that these conversations actually matter. So please keep supporting us. That keeps the magic going, and we really appreciate it more than you know. So yeah, let's get into the main topic today. This one's super close to our hearts because while we spend a lot of time talking about the magic of the parks, we also know that not every family experiences the magic in the same exact way. So we're talking about what the experiences look like, how dads can show up with intention, flexibility, and a little bit more grace, both for themselves and for their families. So Miguel, again, thank you so much for being here. To kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your family?
Like you said, I'm a cast member. Been a cast member for 7 years. I have one son. He's 8. His name's Elias, and he
love
is
it.
named after Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I'm divorced, going on I think 3 years ever since. So you know, it's kind of like a roller coaster. Still trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, love Disney, always have, and you know, I'm a creative at heart. I started as a graphic designer back in the day and kind of made it into Disney, and now with like content creating, you know, that's kind of opened up a whole thing with like video production and stuff like that. So yeah, just try to stay creative as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you comfortable telling us like what your role is with Disney?
Yeah. So my title is retail concept designer. And so I obviously work with mostly retail spaces. So I concept and design like window displays and in-store displays. So anything where you like see mannequins or, you know, like window graphics or anything like that. Like I kind of concept all that, and you know, we get ideas rolling for the higher ups, and once they approve, we go into production, and you know, I kind of manage that as well. I work with vendors and all that stuff, and
Very
I'm also
cool.
involved in the installations. So that's why sometimes you'll see in my stories, I'll be there at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's that's not so often per se, but you know, when it does happen, it's a whirlwind of fun because it's nuts.
That's really cool. And I've known you kind of like in passing for a few years now. And I think the last time I saw you was at the Thunderbolts premiere. And
Yeah, I didn't know
you didn't
it
even
was
know it
you.
was me. That was so funny. But yeah, I've known of you, or you know, been following you on social, and I didn't know this about you. I didn't know this was your role. But I'm going to say this, and there's no butt kissing involved here. The window displays have been fire the past few years. Like I used to do retail. I worked for Vans for a number of years, and some.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, some other stores, and my favorite thing was visual displays. Like it was my favorite thing to do. Like putting up banners and posters, and you know, making sure that the racks are the right way. And so seeing windows is always a big deal for me, and especially at Disneyland because it's such a big part of the culture of like Main Street, or you know, walking through Frontierland. Like it's a big part of what you're seeing when you're walking through these lands. So let me just tell you, you and whoever you're working with, you're doing a great job. It looks amazing.
I really, really appreciate that. And let me one up that for you. So I'm going on my 7th year at Disney, but prior, I was designing and concepting Vans windows for 4 years.
No way. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
so crazy. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 39.
Okay, I'm 45. So I was there in like 2000. I was working.
Okay.
I was actually working there at the same time as I was working at Disneyland.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's actually kind of what jump started kind of like me working into retail because I was graphic designer, like normal graphic designer. And
Yeah.
so, logos and branding and marketing and stuff like that. And I had gone through like a slump of work and I just like randomly fell into a company that was working for Vans. And I actually got hired as a machine operator. Until they asked me my background and they kind of threw at me some work and it kind of just worked out and it was Vans work that I started doing. And
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What a fun job, because visual at Vans is always a blast because you get the color schemes and there's always like the customs and all that stuff. That was my favorite thing about Vans. That's so cool.
So I was going to ask real quick. So is it just for the parks, or is it retail stores throughout the United States and other countries as well?
It's for the parks. So I do design and concept for Disneyland Park, California Adventure, and Walt Disney World parks.
Oh,
Sick.
okay. Very cool.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so Walt Disney World parks, there is a team out there that I work with, but they'll kind of throw at me whatever they have left over.
Gotcha.
So, but I mean, they have a ton of locations, so they beat us for sure. So they sometimes kind of throw at us whatever they got. But yeah, for the most part, and Downtown Disney, obviously.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Downtown Disney, the World of Disney store is our kind of our main store that we kind of do all the 3 windows out there, and interiors are all a big show. So.
Thinking about all the selfies I've probably taken in front of
Yeah.
something you've designed.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Right.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. So this is something that I am very uneducated about. So this is more, I would say more of like a learning thing for me. So please don't take of it as that I'm trying to I don't know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. But so question for you is, what do you think the parks are doing well in terms of accessibility, and where do you think there's still room to grow?
Well, I mean, I guess seeing it as on the parent side, my son obviously has the DAS pass, so it has made things a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
But I think the process of it needs a lot of help. And I brought this up. I brought this up before because I was a little bit taken back when I first went to apply for my son's DAS pass. And it's a little bit different for cast members because we at first needed to apply for it every trip.
Whoa.
So we had to speak to someone every trip. So it was not fun at all. And eventually they switched that up. And I was a little bit taken back because we got to one of the kiosks in the Esplanade, and I had my son's diagnosis letter ready to go. I don't mind showing his diagnosis letter. I mean, if it makes it that much easier.
Yeah.
And they did not take it, and they wanted to speak to my son directly. And I told, because my son was 7. I mean, that was just last year. And my son is not fully verbal. Like he can communicate, he can advocate for himself on certain things, he can ask for things, but he's not conversational. Like he doesn't really he doesn't capture conversation as we would normally do. And so I let the cast member know. Mind you, this cast member was a kid, man. Like, and I don't know how else to put it, but I brought my son over and he just basically sized him up visually and was like, okay, sure. You're good to go. And I was like, wait, what? Like, there was no questions asked. There was no nothing. Like, the only thing was I told him that about him being verbal and stuff like that. But other than that, that was it. And I was so taken back by it.
Yeah.
And I think their process should be a lot more different than that.
Yeah.
And as far as like the parks go, I feel like the parks, I mean, anybody with even anxiety, any like crazy anxiety, they need some space to kind of just like decompress or something, right? And there is nowhere where it's like quiet or anything like that. Like, yeah, you can find a corner somewhere, which I have in the past, and it works out. But I've actually talked about this with some people at work about maybe setting up a place where people can go and kind of just relax. I always think of like the DVC lounge, because if you guys been there, it's
Yeah.
like it's nice. You get to kind of just relax and decompress, and you don't have to worry about like the hustle and bustle outside or the noise or the people. And but with that comes a lot of people taking advantage of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we're in the
And-
position that we're in now. Is so many people did take advantage of, it, and that's what sucks, because there are people
Right.
that need it.
And honestly, that little scenario got my blood boiling. Like, I don't know how you kept your cool during that situation, but I would have been like, are you
Oh,
serious
man.
right now?
You know,
Like,
yeah, the dad side of me just wanted to just
Yeah,
yeah, just
Go
I
at
mean,
them,
he's a
but,
kid, but yeah.
but at the same time, you know, like I was also thinking about my job, and I was just like, I don't want to make a
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
Right,
and like
right.
all this stuff. And so, luckily, it worked out. But yeah, I feel like the process should be more streamlined than that. And I feel like a diagnosis letter or something should be kind of like the middle ground for that. And I've asked people about this, because from what I understood, they were going to have a third party take care of this process, to
Right.
where you have to go through like a doctor's note or letter, whatever the case may be. They vet you over there, and then you just get placed on a list at
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
And that way Disney had like no hands in it. They were taken care of by like professionals. I would prefer that than having a random cast member who's in their
Yeah.
early 20s or whatever, just being like, oh, you know, this kid looks it or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, like, you know, my son, as far as like his mannerisms, there's a few things that he does with like his hands and stuff like that. But aside from that, I can only imagine if they're going to be like sizing up, you know, someone with Down syndrome or,
Yeah.
you never know that. And it's just like, that's a very fine line that they're kind of like playing with.
Yeah, no, it
And,
is, and you would think that, like, from a liability standpoint, they would just put their hands up and say, "You do it."
Right.
That's what Universal's
Right.
doing. Universal.
Yeah.
I have an app that I still need to get like my doctor to go through it all, but like I'm in the process now. Like I've used DOS at Disneyland for 10 years, and it was never a fun process. Like it's never been a good process. Standing in the middle of the park talking to a plaid about whatever is weird. But now that you're at the kiosks, they've changed the process so many times over the past year, maybe 2 years, that they've changed these processes and these policies. Now, like I'm going to throw my hands up right now and say I will probably never use it again, because the last experience I had was so negative and so demeaning and so embarrassing that I probably would never do it again, because I went and stood in front of this cast member, and you have to tell, you're advocating for your son, and, you have to tell a stranger all these things. I have to go and tell a stranger my deepest and darkest secrets. I have to say, I have this, I have this. And they say, oh, I don't need your diagnosis. But if I don't tell you my diagnosis, then you'll never know why I'm having a problem with the lines.
Right.
So I have to tell you these things. And so this last time they were like, they had a policy change, but they were trying to make it sound like I didn't know. And I'm like, I just used it last week. You're not going to tell me that I'm not lying, They should put just put their policy into somebody else's hands, like Universal's doing. Let a doctor do it, because I mean, who else is more qualified? This kid in a booth or a doctor?
Not at all.
Right.
So I could talk about that for hours.
No, same.
So I'm kind of fresh off of a Legoland trip, but honestly, seeing how that park, every ride had a breakdown of what sensitivities would be on the ride or in that area. And you talking about a quiet zone, they legit had signs like, between this hour and this hour is a quiet, if you are, if sound affects you, this is an hour of quiet, and we set it aside just for you. And
See,
I was
that's
like,
amazing.
that's really cool. And I was shocked. And now to hear it, that something like the park that I love is the worst at it, is just baffling to me, But to see that in a trend, like I know you were just saying like Universal, but to see Legoland like fully embrace that, and that's really, I'm glad I supported them, glad I went to that park.
Yeah, I know, and you know, we've run into a few things, and I've asked cast members before about it because you know I never knew if there was or wasn't, or if we're able to use like kind of like the nursery area or like the first aid area, and we're not, and you know, on like days where my son had like you know was too overwhelmed and like a tantrum hits, like I literally had to go into a corner somewhere and just kind of both of us just breathe because when he freaks out I start freaking out and you know nowadays it's a lot easier. You know, we've been kind of obviously you know doing this for quite some time, and but you know now that he's older it is a little bit harder for when it does happen to kind of calm him down. You know, there are other people around, and you know then there's the wandering eyes that you have to, you know, and then the comments and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which is so, it's baffling to me how people, you know, maybe they're not educated enough in it, but you know you would think you see something like that happen, it's just like I wonder why their first reaction has to be like, oh, this guy's not taking care of his kid properly or
Right.
whatever, you know. So
Yeah.
some dude one time was just like, handle your kid, and I was like, oh man,
Wow.
Dude.
and you know, and again, you know, I it's one of those where I just want to like, ugh, but I remember where you're at. Remember where you're
Yeah,
at.
exactly.
And, you know, I
Exactly.
didn't have a job on Mondays, so
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and so it's frustrating. It definitely is. When there is no kind of like exit strategy other than leaving the park. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but hopefully we get there someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
you're a very interesting position. Obviously, you're a cast member, but first and foremost, you are a dad, right? And it's like we all would do anything for our kids,
Yeah.
and you take your son because you want him to experience the magic just like any other kid that's there, right? And it's special for us to be with them, and again, we'll do whatever we can to make it magical for them, but that's just not always the case. Sometimes we're limited.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's not always times where, or places where you can escape to or get him to where he needs to be. And it seems like there's so many gray areas, but sometimes that means you can be pixie dusted and, you know, get treated really special. And then other
Yeah.
times where you're just like getting the shaft.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
So it's like there needs to be more structure. And, you know, my hope is that Disney listens to feedback, especially from someone who is a cast member, right? I know they always ask for, you know, they always send the email, like, you know, survey about your most recent trip.
Right.
And I'm like, sometimes I do fill it out, but mostly it's because I had a negative experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really hope that they hear those things and make changes. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen that they will do that on certain things. We hope with something as, you know, serious and impactful to so many people like this topic, that they would make adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, just recently we kind of experienced the whole thing because fireworks. You know, I mean, we've been able to enjoy them. I can't say that we haven't, but we haven't been able to enjoy them like 100%, and it's simply because it gets too packed or whatever, or
Yeah.
if we want to be away from the crowd, it's like we're behind a tree or they're telling us to move and stuff like that, and you know, I had asked a cast member if it was okay to kind of go in like the back end of where they have like kind of like the seating area of, you know, the people, the dining and the
Yeah,
dining.
just call it
Yeah.
the VIP areas.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. And,
The bougie folks.
yeah, those guys. And yeah, she looked at me like, "Pfft, yeah, right. And you know, I kind of gave her a rundown of why, but yeah, there was nothing, you know, that she was
Yeah.
like, sorry, I can't do that. And but you know, it's something that I'm trying to kind of see if I can talk to the right people when it comes to like on my end as a cast member for other guests, because you know, it does kind of hinder like your trip or you know, you know, I'm not trying to do it for myself, you know, I'm trying to do it for my son, and it's just I wish, like, you know, I wish they would kind of, I don't know, have I mean, I would assume they have like a team, right? That handles that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
And they're
I mean,
they're
even
actually
backstage, it's
pretty
hard to find.
responsive to like emails. So I'd say anybody listening, like write emails. Like if you have a problem with either yourself or your child who utilizes the DOS system and you're having a hard time with it, write an email. I mean, it sounds like, oh, that's going to go in the wastebasket, but they're actually pretty receptive to it. And then also like what you're saying, Miguel, like talk to cast members. Sometimes the plaids are a little bit more, they have a little bit more authority, and they can say, oh, well, I can't get you in the VIP section, but here, let me go take you over here. And, we've got a section that's a little bit quieter. Sometimes they can do, and that's the thing. Like, I never want to feel like, and I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, Miguel. We're not trying to get anything special. I'm not trying to get anything special. I'm not better than anybody. I just want to experience it the same way everybody else does. That's all I want. And I know that's the same for you, Miguel.
Yeah, no, and most of the times it's like I want to get a little corner right over there.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to sit down. I just right there.
Yeah.
And it's it's just like my son starts getting too like overwhelmed with all the people, and then it's just we need to go. And I know that exit after the fireworks is going to be even crazier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
overwhelming.
It's like those kinds of things that I wish there was kind of more to it. And you're right, maybe we try to email them some more, but I've talked to a few people that have kind of given me some context, and we've been kind of in communication on and off. So hopefully, I mean, it would be cool to get one of those quiet rooms, right?
Yeah. Well, and you had mentioned DVC lounge, like the entire launch bay is empty. Like so we have DVC and we go up to the lounge. That's where my wife's going to be working. We go there a bit because it's a nice place to escape. And like, I'm thankful that I can go there if I'm overwhelmed or too hot and I need, I'm getting a little bit irritable. I'm glad I can go there, but I always walk in and I go, what a waste of space. Cause it's only upstairs. It's only that one upper level. Like everything downstairs is open and empty. Like put in a little bit of quiet, and it's totally quiet down there. Like put in some partitions and a couple comfy chairs and you're good. You have somebody that's freaking out. A cast member sees a kid freaking out or a parent panicking because they don't know what to do with their kid. Like, hey, come over here. Like we've got this spot right over here. Maybe it won't be so overwhelming for the space and people abusing that if it's more like a referral basis or like a cast member kind of notices or I don't know.
Right.
There's things they can do. There are definitely things they can do.
Definitely things that they can do.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully in the next few years they can kind of catch up to what Legoland is doing.
Yeah.
But
And I think that's, you say a couple years and you're probably not wrong. Like that's the other thing. That department is so new, it's only about a year old. And so they're still kind of trying to figure it out. And, to be fair, they are combating a lot of people that are walking up and going, oh, well, I've got, it was funny how every TikToker had IBS. Just very, very, very common amongst TikTok creators. But it's like they're combating that where it's like everybody has a thing. And it's like, well, they do have to be a little bit more selective in what they're, who they're offering these things to. But like we've been saying, just put it in the hands of a doctor, a physician's assistant, a nurse practitioner, somebody with a medical background that can say, yeah, this qualifies for our service and here's what we can do for you. Because if you go up and you say, hey, I need an accommodation, the first thing they're going to tell you is, oh, well, we have a return to queue option for you where your party stands in line and then you come and join afterwards. And that's just not a good option.
Yeah.
Well, especially for you, Miguel, like what are you going to do? Like you go get in line and your son meets up with you? Like leave your 7-year-old off by Pirates of the Caribbean?
Let me just leave him.
Yeah. Here, Elias, go eat a churro. I'll be in line. Just meet me in an hour. Yeah. Jeez.
Oh.
So I've got a question, Miguel. So kind of talking through, some of your experiences and maybe we have some hopes and dreams of what maybe we could see in the future that would be beneficial. If you could wave your magic wand and one thing changed in the parks tomorrow about how they supported neurodivergent guests, what would that be?
Oh man. I mean, really what we were talking about. And honestly, I mean, like, that DVC idea wasn't bad because it doesn't have to be anything fancy. That's the thing. It's just like we don't need fancy. And I know that, it's Disney. They want to kind of put bells and whistles on everything, but it sometimes you just kind of need just some space. Like literally, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've kind of pined over this on like kind of what my child would need, and really it's those moments where he just gets too overwhelmed, and I just he just needs some time to breathe, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having people commenting or having people kind of like just kind of watching just makes it that much harder as a parent sometimes. And as much as you say, ignore everything that's around you, or ignore the comments, or ignore the looks, it kind of consumes you at the moment of tantrums or all that stuff. So yeah, if I could, I would definitely have a private space somewhere that, hell, it could even be almost like a DAS pass thing, where it's just like you schedule it really quick, you walk to it, and you have 30 minutes,
Yeah.
15 minutes even can make the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's very different. Even just dad navigating the parks with a couple kids in the stroller, like it's so much different between even just Disneyland and California Adventure.
100%.
With the newer park being built with wider pathways and more kind of open spaces, like it's just like more relaxing on that side
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. it
But
is.
you also notice when they do work on areas, or they make improvements, like Toontown, like it's got the great little kind of spot in the very back now, right? It's kind of in the little cave area, and there's nothing there other than like artificial turf and a couple benches, and it's like just for people to relax.
Yeah.
And I, like you said, Sean, like that the huge launch bay building, it's been so many different things.
Yeah.
It's always just kind of like a walk through exhibit, and it's like, for a park that's so desperate for space and shade and seating, it seems silly and ridiculous that it hasn't been better used. So
Yeah.
my hope is that as they continue to, whether it's expand or retheme, that they really take those things into account and just create better spaces for people to not be so jam-packed like sardines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
and there are some things that they do really well with that. So, like, I didn't realize until just, maybe a few months ago, that there is no way in hell I can get into that submarine for Nemo's adventure. There is no way it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not claustrophobic, but if I feel like maybe I get down there and somebody's, like I've told the guys before, like I have some sensory problems. Like, it could be somebody's too loud, it could be somebody's too smelly, it could be somebody's too touching my elbows too much. Like, I cannot be down there. But they have an entire room that you can go and
Screening room.
experience the submarine voyage in a screening room. So there are some things like that, and we'll talk. I'm going to talk a little bit more after this about a couple takeaways that I can give you just through things that I've experienced, and also from a friend of mine that's really passionate about this. And Miguel, I'd like to connect you guys. But yeah, there are some things that they're doing well. It's just there's always something more that we could be asking for. And so, to Josh's point, fill out those surveys. I just got one yesterday, and I'm like, I am going to put it. It's funny. I pretend that I was the driving force behind them updating the app 5-6 years ago, because I literally gave them, like, I'm a marketer, this is what I would do, and I gave them literally a blueprint of, like, this is what you should do with your app. They made some of those changes.
That's funny. I think the way you tell whether you're local or not is like the surveys you fill them out when they're negative. Like, us people who like go, like, I can't wait to get the survey. I just want to fill it out because for me it's like an extension of the trip, I guess, which is wild. But
Great reflection.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a question, and you might have already answered this because I know you mentioned, like, like prior to the trip or prior to y'all's day at Disneyland, you kind of like to prime him, right? Kind of give him, kind of walk through like what a day will look like. But like, aside from that, like, what other advice would you give a parent who's like maybe starting out with this journey and maybe they're nervous to take their kid to Disneyland? Like, for the first time, like, what is something that you might suggest?
I think the hardest part is taking that first step. I think it's just fear, man. It's the fear that of being seen, or of being, you don't want to be out in public and say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing in front of in front of other people or whatever, and sometimes I need to be stern with my kid, and it's such a it's just fear. And I always tell people, like, make sure that, anywhere, and it doesn't have to be with the parks, but like, just get out there, do it. You know, don't worry about what as much as it bothers me when people make comments and stuff like that. Like, I always suggest, get your feet wet with, kind of small things. When I used to take Eli to the parks, it was like an hour, and then he would get it, like, he would throw a tantrum or whatever, because it was just like too overwhelming, or too many people, or like the sound's too loud, and it was just like in and out quick. And I struggled with that quite a bit, because I wanted to be there longer, I wanted to show him everything and stuff like that. And I sometimes, that as parents, we want to do that, right? We want to kind of have them experience everything the way we see it, and that's just not the case. And I see a lot of parents kind of power down off of that, and start being like, well, this isn't going to work out. I mean, hell, I did it. Because I struggled so much at the beginning, I stopped going to the parks that often, because I was afraid of, my kid throwing a tantrum because we're not going to go to, Phil Har Magic, and we're gonna go to Small World. You know what I mean? It's just like, it could be a small little decision that sets them off.
Yeah.
But I kind of just had to, like, power through it, and I upped it from 1 hour to like 2 hours, and so on and so on. And it took years, man. And I mean, even to this day, not every trip is 100%. You know what I mean? And it's just like, luckily this last trip, everything went swimmingly, but the trip prior, we were good for about 4 hours. And then, I think Small World was down, or they had closed it for like a sec, and
Great.
that set him off like
Yeah.
crazy. And there was nothing, I can do, as much as I try to explain to my son, that, hey, it's closed, but he doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
And so, and I always tell, because, I have friends who have neurodivergent kids, and, one in particular, he's new to it. He just got his son diagnosed, and his son is 2.5, and they're like on lockdown. And, they don't take him to the store, and they don't take him, with them to go grocery shopping and stuff like that. And he's just like, I don't know, man. It's just every single time we go out, it's just like, it's a whole thing. And, me and my wife get overwhelmed, and we just, it becomes into a fight, and, it kind of trickles, right?
Yeah.
And I told him, I was just like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna keep happening. And the more you kind of wait it out, the older he's going to get, and it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's better to put in the hours now, and slowly kind of work him up, and you'll see kind of like the change. And, I struggled for it for years, and, I still do, and it's hard. It's hard to be a single parent.
Sure.
Dealing with all this, you know what I mean? And this also kind of falls here at home, because sometimes things go off the rails, and, I'm trying to get him to school, but he's not going. But then I also have to worry about my work, and it becomes a whole thing. You know what I mean? And so I think what I always suggest to people is do that. Is just don't be scared about it, and also learn to accept help.
Yeah.
Because you have this idea of, like, well, it's nobody else's burden, so I don't want to burden anybody. It's mine, he's my child, and, all that stuff. And I came to realize years after that, my family was more than willing to kind of lend me a hand when I really needed it. I was over here, having breakdowns myself, because I thought I was a bad dad, or, I wasn't doing things right, or maybe, I should have done this different, and you beat yourself up over so many things that at the end of the day, you have, your whole family or even friends that are behind you in this, and it's something that it's like, it's not talked about often because it's just people kind of shut down and feel like they have to do it by themselves because it's their duty as a parent and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But having a child that's neurodivergent is, it's no easy task, and it's we always talk about like the wins, and all the wins are great, but all the losses are bad, man.
Yeah.
They put you in a bad spot. I struggled with anxiety and depression, after my divorce 3 years ago. Probably the first year and a half of that was the worst.
Yeah.
Because I did everything I would look at my son and I would think, am I doing this right? Is this gonna keep going into his teens, into adulthood? And then, you yourself start spiraling and going down this hole.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of parents just kind of tough that out and, sometimes get, into a much darker place than that. I've had, I've known people that have, almost off themselves because of this. And,
Yeah.
I always say, man, just, lean on people, and, get out there into the world. Cause if you stay stuck in your house with your child, it's rough.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
doing themselves any favors. They're not doing themselves any favors. They're not doing their kids any favors. I mean, being a parent of a neurotypical kid is hard enough. And so if you're not giving yourself some grace and realizing like, hey, I can't do this on my own. I got to get some help. Like it's such a hard thing to admit, I'm sure. But once you do, like you'll realize there's resources, there's people that care about you, there's people that will, stick their neck out and help you raise your kid. There's the old adage, like it takes a village. That's so true. And especially when you have somebody that has, needs that are different than another kid, like what you're saying is so, it's really hitting home. Like let people help you. Like just humble yourself a little bit and realize you can't do it all on your own. Nobody can do it all on their own. So just humble yourself a little bit and just accept the help. Yeah, I love that. That's a great message.
Yeah, and you segued pretty much into what my question was, and you obviously are a great advocate for this, and that is constantly learning. But I kind of want to switch it to something more towards you. How do you feel? Was something that's been the most surprising of yourself, like how you handle these situations, or your thought processes through this? Like what's a positive thing that you feel like, wow, like I've surprised myself in the last 7 or 8 years of having to, navigate this. What's something positive that you've gotten out of this that you're like, yeah, I do this, you kind of leaned on, you asked for help. Like that's not an easy thing to do, especially us as men.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this, not even on this level, that, asking for help is the most hardest thing to do as a man.
Sucks.
We just want to be able to answer the question, have all the answers. But what is something that surprised you, that you're like, yeah, hell yeah, this is me,
Man, well, to answer your question, it's patience. I did not know I was as patient as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought myself to be kind of very reactive with a lot of stuff, and I always think back to a moment that I had with my dad. My dad is this, very old school kind of, hardworking dude, worked construction for like 40 some years, and, had us working, a gardening route when we were kids, and very like rough, and at first when Eli got diagnosed, he didn't really understand what all that meant. As far as he was concerned, it's like he's, you do you, and the kid's normal. Don't worry about it. Keep going. And which I agreed to a certain extent, because there was other needs that he needed. And it's something that my dad didn't understand, because my dad is very like, oh no, if he's going to be screaming, you better knock that off, type of thing. And that's how it started. And then until about a year ago, Eli had a big tantrum at a restaurant, and over nothing. And it was just like, we had just gotten there, and I told him I got him pancakes, and he just didn't want to eat the pancakes, and that turned into a huge thing. And he got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed. I started crying, and my dad, like, kind of just looked at me, and like, he was just like, kind of like toughen up type of thing, right?
Right.
And I took Eli outside, and we kind of like sat on the floor, and we kind of like we're both kind of, I was looking, I was trying to like calm him down and breathing and all this stuff. And my dad comes out, and he's just like, mind you, my dad's never told me he's like proud of me, right?
Sure.
And he says, I have never known you to be patient up until like this moment. And I'm proud of you for that. And I was just like, whoa. Like, feelings.
huge.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And
My face is leaking.
yeah, like, what the heck? And it was that moment where I was just like, oh, like, I have what my son needs as far as patience goes. And it was so hard for me to admit that, because I've known myself to be not so patient sometimes, because I'm always like, go with everything. And if I have an idea, I have to do it now. And like, it's like, I'm impatient with everything. And my son is the one person, and his needs are the one thing that I have patience for, and I'm 1,000% proud of that. So yeah,
That's cool. Thanks for that.
You,
That's a good story.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Miguel, your story is awesome, man. Like, I gotta give you credit. Like, you're just like so real, and just like, honestly, you're the perfect guest for this show, because this, I said, really enjoy you doing this with us. But I gotta ask you, like, how do you take care of yourself, man? Like, obviously, you're a dad, you're an advocate, you're a planner. You do a lot, man. I mean, you got a lot going on. Like, how do you take care of yourself? I mean, at the end of the day, like, what's something that you do that helps, like, you?
Good question.
and to be honest, I'm still working on it, man. I struggle a lot. I mean, hell, even talking to you guys tonight is a big help, because I told you guys earlier, on days where my son leaves and goes to his mom's, the first like day or two is a little bit rough. Being in a house by yourself and not hearing his, he would be screaming up there, playing, Minecraft and stuff like that. Or he's like singing, or he's like coming over here and poking me, being like, make me waffles, or, something. And on those weeks where I kind of just sit here is rough. It is, and I can tell you that, 100%. But what I try to do, and what I continue to do is I think creativity, and in any sense, whether it's video production or drawing or design or building something or 3D printing something, whatever the case may be, it kind of keeps me up
busy.
there, like keeps me busy.
Yeah.
And
gives you an outlet.
I don't know if that's kind of like the right thing, if I'm just kind of ignoring it or not, but it's brought a lot of joy into my life. And the whole video thing, I actually started doing it, obviously a lot through like Instagram and stuff like that. And dude, Instagram, internet friends in general have been like my saving grace, dude. Because as adults, I think, like, we sometimes like struggle finding friendships and, you know, people to connect with, right? And Disney is all of our kind of like our hub, right? And I found that, dude. I found that, you know, a couple of years ago, and I've kept with it. And you know, some of my best friends nowadays are people that I met online.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I don't know where I think one of you might have talked about this, but you know, this whole thing with like Disney adults, right?
Yeah.
You know, people kind of hate on that and stuff like that, and I don't find it any different than going to a sports bar or
Yep.
going to a gaming event or whatever. It makes no difference to me. I think in general we all have one common thing, is the fact that we're all looking for community
Yeah.
in some sort of
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely.
And whether it's sports or whether it's Disney or whether it's drinking or whatever the case may be, like we're all looking for the same thing. And we just happen to like a theme park. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's helped a lot. I think really leaning on friends and new friends and
Yeah.
you know, and you guys, like it's awesome. I think you said it at the beginning of this podcast, like this, like a therapy session. This is great.
Yeah.
I
No, it is,
Yeah,
man.
honestly.
And
I
it's
really
funny.
enjoy this because I never really talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, and I think that's the important part. Like, I've never met Austin. I've never met Marcus. Josh and I have hung out a few times in the parks, but like we've met through this, and it's become such a therapy for us. And it's like every week we're just like, oh, we can't wait to talk to our friends. And it's like we become really. I mean, I consider these guys my really good friends, right? And like,
Oh, yeah.
and Miguel, like now that you've been here, like, and you've been able to like kind of, you know, say your piece and speak your truths and you know, kind of you know, see what it kind of feels like to like make yourself a little bit more vulnerable on a bigger platform. Like there's something to be said about like the community side of things. Like, and you know, I said it before, like it takes a village, and that's not just with kids, that's with ourselves too. Like sometimes it takes a village to raise ourselves, you know. Like I'm still growing up and I'm 45 years old. So no, I appreciate you saying that. So I'll let me round this out because you know, we've been talking about, you know, the special needs behind, you know, some kids that and some adults that you know, need some special assistance or special considerations when they're going to parks. You said that that Elias kind of looks at Disneyland as his place. Like, what does magic mean to you and your son then?
Man, it means the world, to be honest. And given the fact that it's his highly preferred place to be,
Yeah.
is kind of cool. I think you know, I kind of touched on the fact that my dad was a hard ass when you know, back in the day. But if there was one thing that he did every single year, he took us to Disneyland. Like that was kind of like our yearly thing. You know, at the end of the year, we would go to Disneyland, and you know, back then it was obviously a little bit easier to get on everything and stuff like that. But he
Yeah.
made sure that we got on everything, saw everything, and you know, he was the parent that kind of pushed you in front of other people to kind of see everything. But and I was able to give that to some extent, you know, to Eli. And honestly, I mean, like Disney kind of has meant a lot to both me and Eli, because it's kind of like our, you know, the place where we kind of just like experiment
Yeah.
with fun stuff, experiment his tantrums, you know, experiment what works and what doesn't. And you know, we yes, we do that here at home and, you know, out and about when we're at stores and stuff like that. But it definitely makes it so much more worth it when, you know, you're at the park and he sees something new. Or for example, you know, Space Mountain, going on Space Mountain for the first time and seeing his face like, you know, I did it, you know, type of thing. And, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of it, it's just like, hell yeah, like that's, you know, that's what we live for,
Yeah.
right? That's those
Yeah.
moments. And so Disney has brought that into our lives 100%. And, you know, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
So
And that's so cool because
Yeah.
like something that I know, you know, for me, like, and I'm going to associate that with anybody that's got any kind of neurodivergence in their their brain. The little wins like that are so important to somebody's development. Like he's going to see like, shit, look what I just did. I just went on this ride that I was so afraid of, and he's going to feel good about himself. And, you know, he'll feel that in his own special way. You're going to look at it as like, I'm so proud of you, but he's going to look at it as like, I did this thing. And, you know, maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help him with, you know, coping with other, you know, major milestones in his life. And you can do that over and over in the parks because there's always going to be a situation where you can kind of coach him through getting through these things. You know, if it's not going on Space Mountain for the first time, it might be going on Incredicoaster for the first time. It might be going on Haunted Mansion and being in the dark for, you know, 20 minutes and being proud of that. Or even like, yeah, you're right, Dad. Like, I had a hard time with, you know, the food and you know, so there's major wins that people don't really see. Like those little things are so big to people that are just like yearning for like acceptance in the world, or like, you know, finding some normalcy in the world. Like that, those things are so big and so important. And so I value everything that you just said. And I think that, you know, it's an important conversation, and I'd like to leave, our audience with some takeaways, but also I want to give you a takeaway, Miguel, because you're kind of navigating this new life of, like, you know, you mentioned the divorce, and, you know, you're raising a kid on your own half the time who's got some special issues that you've got to work through. I've got a really good friend that I met through Disneyland, and I've been on her podcast, and we've done some chats together. And I'm going to connect you two after this show because I think that she'd be a really good resource for you. Her name is Kim Hamilton, and she goes by Neuroadventures Travel on Instagram. She's she's a travel agent, but she specializes in like neurodivergent travel. You know, she's got a child of her own that's on the spectrum. And so I'd like to really connect you with her because she's got a lot of really great resources. And for anybody listening, please go follow her if you've got any kind of neurodivergence in your circle of you know, Disney goers. She's got some guides on special places in the park that you can escape to. She does some special things with, she doesn't know I'm doing this, so this is going to be a surprise to her. But she does some special things about like considerations with the parades, with Halloween time, with fireworks. And so there's all these things that she's been really busting her ass to like research and make sure that she can like be a good resource to people when she's helping them book travel. But just as a resource to the neurodivergent community, I think she's such a great asset. And I'd really love for you guys to connect, and anybody listening to just kind of like give her a shot at like showing you what she's done. She's put a lot of work into it, and she's really proud of what she's done, and she's continuing to do it. She asked me the other day, hey, you want to talk about Oogie Boogie Bash after you go this year? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Because, you know, the lights are different. The sounds are different. You know, it's darker in areas. And so these are things that maybe some people don't even consider when they're going to Disneyland, but it's so important to the kid that doesn't know, you know, they've never been there before, or they've never experienced that season at Disneyland, or whatever the case is. So whether your child is neurodivergent, anxious, sensory seeking, or just overwhelmed easily, there's not a right way to do Disney. What matters most is doing it in the way that works for your family. And there's so many resources, right, so many people that are you know, really helpful in this community. So, you know, seek them out. I'm trying to make this easy on everybody to just give my connection with Kim Hamilton. She's a great person. She's a great human being, and she's done a lot of work in this community.
Awesome. No, thank you.
Yeah, well, we want to thank you, Miguel, for being with us today, being our first guest, and just being willing to share. And I've gotten to know you a little bit from a few meetups in the park, which has been awesome. But this is, you know, kind of taking our relationship to the next level. So we're in it now, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. I mean, this is great.
And like you said, you know, like at the Disney adult club, like I just like you, I love being a part of it and getting to connect with these guys. And it's like, it's my favorite group chat I'm in, and the people I've gotten to meet, I'll just echo what you guys have all said. It's so special, and it means more than just anything we do at the park. So
1,000%.
I'm stoked to be part of this. And again, we're grateful to have you here. We want to kind of end on a little bit of a lighter note, so we'll have some fun with a couple questions here. My first one is, and this is something I constantly think about when, the park's always going through rethemes, or something's getting changed from a classic attraction to maybe an overlay that's more IP heavy, for more recent successful movie or whatnot. What's a one Disney movie or brand that you feel is still underrepresented in the parks and deserve more focus? So for instance, like when the medley comes on in Wondrous Journeys, where it's like Hunchback of Notre Dame and Moana and Belle and Hercules, I'm like, this is like the only Hercules in the park, and I freaking love Hercules.
Yeah. Yep.
Or, there's no Lion King really represented at Disneyland. There might be at Disney World and, Paris, they're doing a whole thing. But, okay, so what do you guys feel is underrepresented based on maybe movies you grew up with or would love to see?
Good question, Josh. Wow. You do contribute to this show. Thank you.
Thank you.
You stole mine. It was Hercules, man. It's got such amazing music. Amazing music. Visually, it's what a movie. Hades, you have so much of a... You have good versus evil. Like, it's I just wish there was a Hercules dedicated land.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was me.
I would say,
Miguel, we're on the same wavelength.
I would say I would close Pinocchio. I would shut that right down, honestly.
Mother.
Sorry. And I would put in a Robin Hood attraction. I would do a Robin Hood dark ride.
That's cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie's come on. I mean, obviously they did a whole series on Disney Plus about how this movie has grown, but the Goofy movie for me, I know that's kind of, that's not like Robin Hood, but that movie is it's like a phenomenon now, man. That is and it just keeps building and building and building, and I think that they would do good by putting something in, putting Powerline. I think they would do well with that.
So
Cool.
I've told you guys, Kenzie's really big on hidden stuff, right? She found there is Powerline representation in the park. If you don't know it, his costume is hanging on a clothesline in Toontown.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough, but he is there a little bit.
Okay, we'll have to look for that next time.
Yeah.
Great question, Josh.
Yeah, that's a good question. Austin, you had one of your own though. What was yours?
Oh boy. Well, this is gonna cut. You already started it, Sean. So let's start the controversy. All right. Disneyland is out of room. What ride are we eliminating?
Pinocchio. It's gone. It's gone. Dead. It's dead. Pleasure Island, no more.
Did you just say Roger Rabbit, Josh?
Yeah, have you not seen my ride rankings?
Oh, it
came in last
too
place.
low.
Even the
You're way too
spreadsheet
low.
said so.
Hey, if the spreadsheet
Wow.
said so, I mean,
Man.
We wrote it a few visits back, and I was like, "Why is this here?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I watched
would
the
agree
movie.
with you,
I
man.
watched the movie as a kid, probably too young for I should have watched it. You know, dads
lot
show
of
their kids
adult
movies
ones.
too young. They have no sense for that.
Yeah.
At least our dad's generation did. I rode that ride. I'm like, it's dark. There's no story. The cars spin around. You don't feel good after. The line is not feeling like there's just no redeeming qualities about it whatsoever.
Okay.
I remember the stretching arm.
but it's even worse now. It's
That's
even worse now because I'm gonna sound like a pig, and I apologize. This is not how I mean it.
I know what you're gonna say. I'm with you.
But they covered up Jessica Rabbit.
I mean, yes.
I mean, it has nothing to do with sexualization of a woman. It has nothing to do with that. Her entire persona is her in the red dress.
Yeah.
And they put her in a freaking detective trench coat? Come on. Boo.
Well,
I say
Get
boo.
rid of Roger Rabbit. Put a lounge back there. Put a baby center. Anything else. That's
There
gotta
you
go.
go. A quiet room.
Quiet room.
A quiet
Okay.
room, for
Yep.
sure.
Well, hey, I've always got to represent Disney World here. So if I'm eliminating one ride, it's Aladdin carpets.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
I'm with
Aladdin
you,
needs
man.
representation, but Disneyland's Adventureland just dunks all over Walt Disney World's Adventureland. And to me, this attraction does not help that case.
No.
And so, one, that ride exists already in that park, right? There's variations of that ride.
It's just the
already
same.
in-
It's just the same. Yeah, nothing new
Yeah.
about
The
it.
only redeeming quality of that attraction is the spinning camel on a hot day. That's the only redeeming quality.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, that but I had Roger Rabbit just in case we were staying only. I had Roger Rabbit as well. Like we tried to ride that in 2019. My daughter wouldn't get on it, and we rode it, in March of this year, and it just that ride seems so out of place in my opinion.
It's it's the least Disney, even with all the things they acquire over time. Like it just doesn't fit at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I feel so.
Sorry,
you want me to
Austin.
turn around while you all take the knives out, or how are we gonna do this? Miguel, what do you think? What do you think? If he's gonna say Toontown, say Roger Rabbit too. Okay, good.
I have two.
Okay,
Oh.
do it.
I
Give them
have
both.
Snow White and Pinocchio.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe
So
maybe
even
it's
after
because
the
I've also
redo with
written
Snow
them,
White?
like a billion times, but I don't know. I feel like their stories are just too short.
They are. I'm glad that Snow White is better now, though. Like,
Yeah.
if you had asked me this, 6 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, get rid of it. Throw it out.
Hot garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of was in line with you, Marcus. We have Dumbo and we have Astro Orbiter, and they're literally like a 2-second walk away from each other. They're kind of the same. So I mean,
But kids love both of them. They don't notice that it's the same ride.
I mean, 100%.
Dude,
but I'm gonna eliminate a duplicate right there.
I would join with you on. So I was actually hired at Disneyland to work on Astro Orbiters, and when the recruiter called me to say that, I said, "No, thank you." And they were like, "Really?" And I was like, "No, thank you." And they're like, "Well, just speechless." And they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
do you want to stay on the list?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, for Jungle Cruise." And I had 2 other jobs. I didn't need that job. And so they finally called me back and they're like, "Hey, we have an opening." And I was like, "Jungle Cruise?" And they're like, "It's not Jungle Cruise, but it's close." And I was like, "There's nothing close to Jungle Cruise." And they're like, "The Davy Crockett Explorer canoes." I was like, "Oh."
Oh,
It would have been
And I
a great
took it.
skipper,
It was-
Sean.
and it was the best 2 summers of my life. It was amazing.
that's all.
But I will say that Disney World's Astro Orbiter is a little. We didn't ride Disneyland's in March, but Disney World's Astro Orbiter, like there are times where you don't feel as safe as you do like in Dumbo or Aladdin Carpet. So even though they're the same ride, there is a level of like fear that you don't have on Dumbo or Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
All right. Well, that was a blast. Thank you for all dumping on our beautiful place that we enjoy so much. That was a great way to end the show. But before we head out of here, we'd love to ask, where can we find everyone and what are you working on? So, Austin, why don't you take it away?
Oh, and don't forget what we're wearing, because I specifically
And
wore stuff.
also, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
What am I wearing? So first off, I got my new merch right here, my little
Yes.
Magic of Mayhem
Good for
hat.
you.
I
Good for
actually
you.
designed it myself, so I'm pretty impressed with myself. And I'm rocking
Wow.
Natty's Market, which is actually my wife's new branding of a T-shirt company. She does all kinds of cool stuff right
Cool.
now. So Natty's Market, yeah. And then working on my podcast, The Magic of Mayhem. I'm actually doing my first collab with a restaurant here in Sacramento. That's where I'm from,
What?
Miguel.
Wow.
So it's called Jet's Midtown Bar. So they're doing Jurassic Park theme for this month. So I'm doing my first collab with them actually tomorrow. So
Good
pretty
for
stoked
you.
for that
Dude,
one.
you
Yeah.
made it.
Buddy.
You've made it.
I'm
You are
excited.
now an influencer.
Excited, yeah.
Good for you.
Your favorite word.
Yeah, I love it. I love influencers. Marcus, what are you working on? Where can we find you? And who are you wearing?
All right, well, I'm at the Diz Dad, dude. I'm actually working on a reel. I'm going to put it out tomorrow, but it's basically, the theme of it is like when your coworker is talking about Disney and telling you like everything that's not accurate about Disney, but you just kind of have to smile through the conversation because they don't know that your entire personality outside of work is Disney.
Yeah.
And so, so it kind of captures that.
It's because you're not trying hard enough.
Capture that concept, but yeah, I'm just wearing just a classic Walt Disney World
one.
sweater. And I absolutely love these sweatshirts. I don't know if you had anything to do with this, Miguel, but these sweatshirts are just so just like
Not at
it's
all.
simple. I love that Disney is going to just a simple sweatshirt like
Yeah.
that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's very like 90s, but I'm here for it. So yeah, and obviously got the Roosevelt hat. So I'm just wearing just all the mainstream stuff, not repping any small shops. I hate to say that today, but
Wow.
The results hat.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, screw
Results.
small
For the
businesses, I
longest
guess.
time, I thought Roosevelt was results. I'm like, oh, yeah,
Dude, so did I. Did you
Okay,
really?
okay,
So
whew,
did I.
Thank you. I'm validated now. I wrote Marcus. I was
Oh.
like, I had no clue it's
Thank you
Roosevelt
so
for the
much. I felt
longest
like
time.
such a moron when I realized what it was. Their logo is freaking Roosevelt.
It made sense. After I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much more sense.
I
now.
just
Yeah,
bought my
I'm with
first
you,
Roosevelt
Sean.
shirt, actually. I bought that Haunted Mansion one. I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's
Nice,
a good
man.
one.
Love it.
Josh, where can we find you? What are you working on, and who are you wearing?
Well, you can't find me at Disneyland because we're still blocked
No.
out for a few weeks.
You're on a peon
But
pass.
I'm trying to find any excuse to get up that way still. I was around Disneyland the other day, and I'm like, do I just like go park and walk around down to like? Do I need to do
Yeah,
that? No,
why not?
I kind of want
Be
to.
a loser. Do it.
Some things I'm working on. I have some fun collabs with some local people here in Orange County that are coming soon that I'm excited. One's supposed to be actually tomorrow, so
Nice.
that'll be before this airs, but excited about that. Long time coming. And then we'll be taking some small family trips here in the next couple of weeks. So I'll be hitting the road, not quite Disney World, but yeah, looking forward to some time away.
Dollywood.
As we again just kind of count down to getting back to the parks. Now Vegas, a couple nights, kid-free nights in Vegas, and then we'll be going to my wife's hometown, Gilroy, California, for a couple days.
Gilroy,
come on
the
out,
Garlic
baby.
Festival,
Come on
right?
We're going back to the Garlic Festival. It'll be the first time since 2019 that it's been an event.
Wow.
If anyone's not familiar, it's like the only thing that city's got. No offense.
It's
I
pretty
lived there
much
for a number of
Disneyland
years.
in Gilroy.
It's what keeps the town going.
Yeah.
They used to have a
But
Disney store there, by the way. And
They
it's
in the
closed.
outlets they used to have a Disney store.
Yeah.
So in 2020, obviously pandemic, nothing was happening. The year before that, there was actually a shooting at the event. We were there that
Yeah.
day.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Before that
right.
happened.
Oh, snap.
But it hasn't taken place since. So we're really excited to go back and celebrate the community and see people. And so we're excited to take our kids for the first time. We were really involved in the event, so we're looking forward to that. And then, who I'm wearing, talking about Haunted Mansion. So my Park Friends hat just came in the mail
It's beautiful.
today.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
My new Haunted
So
Mansion hat. So I'm going to be rocking this basically straight up till the next time I'm in the parks, which will be almost Halloween time,
Yeah.
believe it or not, even in August. So I'll be rocking this hat for a while.
It's a good hat.
Yeah.
Official Park Friends. They're good folks.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. You were talking about last episode, the Crushes.
Crushes
Crushes.
Precious hat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I need a re-up on that one. My hat is all crushed and gross. It's a good hat. I need that one. I also don't shop at Bass Pro Shop, so I love just rubbing that in people's faces that I'm not a man's man.
We actually, funny enough you say that, there's a Bass Pro Shop very close to one of my kids' schools.
Mm-hmm.
And we had about 30 minutes to kill yesterday, so we definitely just like walked around and let our son look at the fish tank, climb on the boats.
Yeah.
I'm not in there to buy a single thing. I got hounded by the Hilton Grand Vacations
I'm sure,
booth
yeah.
trying to get me to buy a vacation. But it was the cutest thing. He asked if he could bring his Mickey stuffy into the store, and I'm like, I guess, sure, don't drop it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's gross. But he was walking around with it on Mickey on his shoulders, like I carry him on my shoulders. So that
Amazing.
was super
Cool.
cute, just carrying Mickey around and showing him the boats and the fish
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Actually, you should have let him swim in there. They actually encourage that you let your kids swim in the.
I lifted
fish
him as high as I tried to Lion King him up high, and I couldn't reach. It was too high on my glass.
All right, Miguel. Where can everyone find you? What are you working on, and who are you wearing?
You can find me on Instagram, Migs Cervantes. Migs with 3 eyes. 3 eyes.
3 eyes.
What I'm working on, I mean, it's my ongoing daily video thing, and man, so I've been kind of writing and developing like a short film.
Oh.
Don't know if I'm ever gonna get to actually film it because it's such a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe
Well, if
one
you
day.
need a
But,
handsome bearded man who wears glasses,
there you go.
I don't know what the roles would be, but I know a guy.
Yeah,
It's not that
Let me just
one.
put my glasses on. You're talking about me?
No, I said bearded.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if you caught that. Well, awesome. No, and thanks so much for your awesome stuff. Your content's amazing. If you have not followed Migs yet, please go follow it. 3 Eyes.
Yes.
Yep, and I'm always like down to kind of film with anybody. So if you guys are ever down, let's do something.
Always, yeah. We need to actually meet up in the park and actually hang out next time because
I know,
we
for
keep
real.
missing each other.
It was funny. Miguel asked where are we filming this episode. He was thinking we're gonna hang out, and I'm like, we've got someone in Texas, we've got someone in Sacramento. Like, I would love to hang out at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Dude,
on a weeknight.
Yeah.
So next time, I told him he'll be our first returning guest also,
Yes.
and that'll be an in
Yes,
person.
absolutely.
December.
I agree.
Yeah, where do I need to fly
December.
to? I will fly anywhere.
And are you wearing anything specific today?
No. I mean, I should be repping Park Friend since I work with them.
You do it every day. I mean, every other day is fine. You're fine. You're fine.
But yeah, no, all black. That's
I love
usually
it.
my go-to.
Yeah, I love it.
Fact. It was fact. Sean,
Yeah,
wrap us up.
for sure.
Wrap
You
us
can
up.
find me at the Mad Hatter _ with 2 Ds, or at Magic on Main Street Official. I'm working on a new series. I actually filmed like 30 reels today. I know, it was crazy. I woke Tabitha up doing it. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm doing a new magical affirmations. So I'm kind of tying in Disney characters with I've been really feeling down a lot lately. Like I've been having a really hard time lately. I've had a lot of like really hard times with work. Like there's a lot of uncertainty with my job. I've just been down, and so I was like, I need some affirmations, and I was like, oh, I'll just make my own. So I made like 30 today, and so I released my first one today. It was a Cinderella themed, talking about her glass slipper, and it's unique, and so are you, kind of thing. So I'd really love it if you guys check that out, and that's at Magic on Main Street Official. And then what am I working? That's what I'm working on. Who am I wearing? Oh, I'm wearing my Magic on Main Street hat. I love these hats so much. My buddy Justin does Hometown Haunts, and I'm actually wearing one of his shirts today. It's the Haunted Mansion. It's kind of a cool shirt. You can find him at hometown.haunts. But he had created a hat that just says the parks in like the Disney font. And I was like, I love that.
Cool.
And my font is kind of the same. And I was like, I'm just going to make my own. And I love teal. So yeah, so that's who I'm wearing. So yeah, that's, I think that's that.
Where are you going tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to Florida. Oh yeah, that's another thing I'm working on. So we're going to Walt Disney World tomorrow. We're going to be there for 10 days. I sounded like a piece of shit when I just said that. I'm so sorry. That was not intentional.
Like, no, guys,
I'm not going for 4 days, peasants.
No,
No, we're going for a big birthday trip, and so we're going to do 10 days. We're doing Universal, all the parks. We're staying at the old Key West. But I'm going to work on a series out there, and I'm going to call it Who Wore It Better. And I'm just going to do comparisons between, their pirates and our pirates, and, their Adventureland, our, things like that. So just, we don't get to see it enough. And so I just kind of want something to remember it by. So, yeah.
Can you do me a favor while you're there?
Yeah.
Can you count how many dads have the same red Lion King shirt?
Yes.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
The basic one that
basic
looks
one
like
with
from
the logo?
It's like this color.
Give me a head count of
I
how
will.
many you see.
I will.
See, I had to get crafty. I did the one that was like in Japanese. So
Yeah.
I was like, yep, you ain't copying me, bro.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, when we were at Disneyland this week, I was counting the most expensive day ever.
Yep.
How many?
Scan here. Yeah.
I counted in the 4 days that we were on Disney property, I counted 29 of them.
Oh
And I wanted to
my
do this
gosh.
to every single one of them.
Miguel, that's kind of our joke is
Yeah.
we just hate those guys.
I just can't stand it.
29 human rocks. just
29
walking
rocks
around.
walking around, no personality, just an empty
just
wallet.
a wallet. Yeah.
A walking
No soul,
empty
just a
wallet. Anyway, all right. Well, Miguel, thank you so much for sharing your story and making yourself vulnerable. That's always a hard thing to do, but giving us such valuable insight. We're all better for hearing it, and we're also very proud to have you as an honorary member of the Dads of Main Street. Thanks for being here, man. That's so awesome.
I really appreciate it. No,
yeah.
this was super cool, really fun, and I'll see if I can get all your guys' numbers, and as dads, sometimes as men,
Yeah.
sometimes we need to kind of connect or talk or whatever, and Sean, you were saying you were having a rough time, like I always tell friends of mine, like, hey, sometimes you just need 3 minutes of, texting someone and just
Yeah.
kind of, unloading whatever and, whatever. So I'm always open and, here for you guys. So
I find so much value in that, and that means more than you will ever know. And these guys know the same thing. Like the support that they've been showing to me and to each other. Like it's just some of the most valuable relationships were born on this podcast, and I'm just so thankful for this group. And now you, Migs, like you are. I've always known that you were a cool dude, and you saying that is just so meaningful to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I got you guys.
So whoever brings the next guest, good luck topping my first.
Yeah, seriously, that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah, seriously.
But so for all the dads out there doing their best, especially those navigating a parenting path that looks a little bit different, just know you're seen, you're appreciated, and you're not alone. Please make sure you follow us at the Dads of Main Street on Instagram, subscribe to the show, drop a comment or review of this episode. If it resonated with you, please tell us. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to share that with our audience. And then also, please give my friend Kim a follow at Neuroadventures Travel. She's a great resource for neurodivergent children and everything that entails with the park. So until next time, keep showing up, keep making magic in your own way, and remember, sometimes the best moments don't look picture perfect. So on behalf of our crew, Josh, Austin, Marcus, Miguel, and myself, thanks for listening to the Dads of Main Street. We'll see you next time. Don't half-ass it, right, guys?
Whole ass.
Whole ass.
All ass.
Whole ass.
All ass.